All right. Good morning, boys and girls. How are we all doing today? Actually, I forgot to go live on Twitch. 1 second. Oh, one more second. I'll be right back. All right, we're good. I think. Right. Still haven't gone live on Twitch. Just chatting. Yes. Uh. Yeah. So. No, it was a. I bought some notebooks and fountain pens, etc., all that good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, honestly, I think I'm probably an addict for like for like that kind of stuff. Just it's wonderful. Like I love writing with a fountain pen. Like and I'm not even talking about like the high quality the high quality smooth pen tip, that kind of stuff. No, not at all. I'm talking about the very, how do you say, like the scratchy old school. Like it feels like you're actually getting work done even though all you're writing is crap. Do I think the West Coast boys will show up? I don't know. I mean, it is 5 in the morning, so maybe not. But then again, it doesn't really matter, right? Anyway, so today we are. I was just getting to that. Yes, we will actually do, and I promise, as long as someone reminds me of the time, we will actually do my talk about my diet and all of that. Simply because, you know, I promised and someone paid for it, and it should be done. Yeah, yeah. It'll be at the end of it, so you know, whenever that is. But for now, let's start with the background. I do want to just make sure I have the dimensions correctly. Oops. What was it? What was the QHD background? I keep forgetting. 38402160. Okay. So 38402160. Done. No fill this, and just like a nice little modernist minimalist little thing around it. Let me do this and all of it inside. And then we're going to, let me lock this first. So this is at the very top. It's locked now. Oh, good morning. We were just talking about you and whether any of you would make it today. Well, welcome. I don't know if I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm surprised that you made it. And we want 38402160 3840. I disrupted your morning. What? Oh well, that's something about you that we've never really heard of. Interestingly enough. Let's see. So my little avatar takes up probably that much. So let's say this were at 3000. We could probably go even further. So let's put it at 3500 like this. And then the avatar itself will cover maybe a little bit of that, and that's okay. Right? Yeah. And since we're doing top right, 3740. So then essentially what we're saying is, actually let's see. Oh, that's not as cool. I wanted height aligned, I think. So we'll set this to 1950. 1950 out of 2160. No, let's do 1960. So bottom we'll do top. $100, and this is 2160. Perfect. So then the avatar will go here, and let us turn this into a triangle. Not triangle, what am I saying? Into a rectangle with some amount of defined width. We'll do that. We'll have hard borders, and it'll be on the outside. There we go. So this could be like the initial streaming design. Let's put some words to it. Muses. Isn't it beautiful? I'll be honest, I really like this name. Originally it was meant actually simply for the minimalist work that I was doing. But it's grown on me, and so I'm using it for basically everything. 125. Maybe not like that. Maybe like this. Like that. Got to mute my email. Did you guys hear that email notification? No? Well, that means this microphone is pretty good. Like the directionality of it. Let's do that. That. And also let's make sure to take a piss out of ourselves. Well, ourselves. By that I mean minimalist. Well, because I none of this is really minimalist, right? Can you imagine if I then went to put like Bauhaus? Brutalism. No, I like this though. This is kind of cute. So we'll put that there, and this would be like perhaps something like today. Actually, let me put it in and let's see how it looks. Today is 2021 05/11, right? Yes. Yeah, just give me one quick moment while I put this in, and so we can see how it looks. I feel like this could be like a very how do you say? Oh, right. I did it in QHD, I forgot. This could be like a generic background. Let's see. So we put that in there. That should slot in perfectly. excellent. Goes to the very back. But now we're going to adjust this. How does that look? Like that. How does that look? I kind of like it, actually. Well, it's a little bit funky, right? Like it's certainly how do you say? It's certainly not how most backgrounds would look. And at least on YouTube, it, you know, like, where's my mouse? So like down here, I'm now covering my face is my pseudo face is covering less of the less of the screen. So it kind of works in some respects. Yeah, I like it. But it's also very, very minimalist, right? Like the little branding on the sides. Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, let me put in the, let's see, what kind of branding do I want to put in? Because the comment was that I should put my social media, quote unquote social media. But like literally nobody watches these videos besides you lot, so what's the point? There is no point. Oh, is it not aligned? Oh well, that's embarrassing. Let's see. Can I align it? I think my problem is with OBS actually, that it's there we go. Is there? Oh, now it's a problem with affinity. Yes. Okay, let me redo affinity so that things look a little bit. Excuse me. Thank you. Anything else? Navigator. I wonder if I can. Yeah, we'll put that here. This can shrink down. Okay, so once that's in that position. Oh, what happened to my affinity design? Oh yes, because I changed the size of it. So maybe I shouldn't. Yeah. So the problem with having a border is that not everything I play is going to be exactly at that border. So then it just kind of makes no sense to have it like that. Okay. Well, that's not a big deal because then I'll just we'll use the what am I saying? We'll just move it so that you can't see the border. There we go. And make it slightly bigger. Excellent. Right? Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so we're going to continue like this. Do I really sound like an interior designer? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. Yeah, so I think this is a good start though. Right? Like I'll give you that. Most apps are defined at, you know, like the proper aspect ratios. So that's not too big of an issue. Having said that, I wonder if there's a case for moving this entire thing to the right just a little bit more. Since as it stands, it is, oh, why is it 3.7? Oh, right. Yeah. Let me think about this for a moment. 3840. So literally 3740. Yeah, okay. I'll redo this after it. That's okay. Yeah, no. My question was whether it should be even bigger. But I think if we make it bigger, then we lose the space on this end. So I think this is good. This will be draft 1. Let's do another draft and see what happens. I have an idea. just give me one quick second. Let me work it out. So this time, instead of it being completely being a white background, it'll be a black background. These words will be in white. CYMK, come on, don't fail me, CYMK. There we go. These words will be in white, and we'll have geometric shapes. How did you guess? Our regulator is very interesting in that she has a very seemingly natural understanding of my idiosyncrasies. Well, I said we would have geometric shapes, right? So this is essentially what's going to make it, right? Like the idea is that this will be in white, and that if you cannot see what's outside of the canvas, that it forms these distinct patterns. I don't know, is it too pretentious or not pretentious enough, I wonder? Because I'm looking at it and I could see it work. It's almost like graffiti, right? But at the same time, it's also kind of really weird. Let me export it and see what it looks like. Actually, it doesn't look so bad. Let me put it in, and then we can discuss it. Bear with me, bro. Just wait. Relax. So this goes like this, and of course we pull it down to this end, right? So it's basically the same thing as before, but now instead of let me open something else so that it doesn't look strange, too strange. Yeah. So, you know, as I'm doing what I'm doing, this feels like it doesn't. Oh, there we go. Right, like it's not too distracting, but at the same time it makes it look a little bit funkier. What do we think? Yeah. That is sort of the idea. The idea is that that essentially the viewer will be greeted with a how do you say? The viewer will be greeted with you know, like aside from the game itself, also a little bit of visual interaction, right? Like on the, I don't know why I'm doing it that way, but like along the edges here, right? Like the viewer is supposed to be given a little bit of just I don't know how to phrase it properly, but essentially it's supposed to be distracting, but not distracting enough that it takes away from the content. And so in this case, by having those lines that essentially jut out from the edges of the screen like this, right? Like having those lines there essentially means that it gives the viewer some a visual break from the edge of the screen, from everything else, so that they can then concentrate on the content. Now, whether the viewer wants to concentrate on the content or not, that is a different question. And and I absolutely agree. Like that is very much a different question, and that is a question that is more up to, I guess, me than it is up to everyone else. Well, it's true, right? It's much more about whether I can make good content. Well, it's true. It's true. Having said that, is the background music still running? Okay, good. Excellent. Okay. So let us return to this. It looks nice. I wonder if it would look nicer if these portions that are right now outside of the canvas were actually inside it, or if it were just slightly busier. Because right now you see there's not a lot going on up here. There's not a lot going on in this area, but it's mostly up here and like in this area that I'm considering. What do we think? I mean, yeah. The comment was, you could do a lot more if you applied yourself to your work. You're not wrong. I think the more pithy answer is I already have, and therefore I have the luxury to do this, right? Like I think that's the more straightforward answer, in that because I have already applied myself to my work so much in the past, that I am now able to have the opportunity to do something that is perhaps less how do we say, less like what my peers are doing, right? Because a lot of my peers are right now, they spend all of 2020 just being all over the place and not necessarily having a very good time, whereas 2020 for me was quite relaxing, simply because I did not give a crap. Does that make sense? Like yeah, I mean, I already did apply myself to my work, and therefore that's why I'm able to do this. Exactly. Yeah. I feel like this pattern is repeated too much, so let's do that. A little bit more, simply to oh, will it auto-update if I update this? I wonder. Yes! That's cool. I like that. Well, so what happens is, because OBS actually takes, like, just links the file into it, it will update on its own whenever I update the file itself. So that's excellent. let's do something like this. Coincidentally, how many of you have interests in Monday.com? This is not material, so I can't talk about this. They keep emailing me. I want them to stop. Well, so a while back I signed up for the student trial because I wanted something that had like Gantt charts and Gantt charts and what am I saying? Essentially, I wanted a project management tool to manage my own life, right? So I tried Monday.com. No, wasn't for me. But now they're just like emailing me every few weeks, and even when I'm unsubscribing, it's not they're still coming back. Yeah, tell him to buy Doge. That's the... How do you pronounce that? I have no idea. Doge? Dog? Like, people are weird. Well, because I genuinely have no idea how to pronounce it. I don't generally pronounce like things I read, right? So I would have no idea on how it's pronounced, and I suffer for it. Well, especially when I'm streaming like this. Like, exactly, right? Like, you can see all those boys and girls now laughing at my expense because I don't know how to pronounce a meme. Having said that, like, what even is a meme at this point? Everything is a meme at this point. Well, I mean, I'm not going to discount his services to humanity, but really, like, there's no reason. Because, well, I mean, at this point, Elon Musk might as well just be a meme himself, right? Like, it's just it's too much. It's too much for me. Because I'm of the opinion that he could have done more with his power, right? Like, even let's say this was 3 years ago, pre-SEC, pre 420, you know, like, he was already the kind of person he was, so therefore he had the ability and the following to be to be a leader in society. And I would have very, very, very much liked it if he were, right? Use that accumulated goodwill, use that accumulated financial interest to bring about change. Like, I guess this is where my human philosophy differs to that of most people, or of most of my peers. And since most of my peers are more libertarian leaning, because they think they built the company all by themselves with no help from anyone else. And in some respects that's probably true, but in a lot of very important respects it's also not true, right? Because none of these companies could work without the massive amount of talent that was behind in developing everything. And so it is my personal belief, and I'm pointing at myself as if people can actually see that. No, it is my personal belief that it is important for leaders of society, once they have attained power, to realize that change does not come from a person. Change comes from fundamental changes in culture, fundamental changes in education. And something that I think our friends in the more libertarian fields don't seem to realize. Let's do a third one. Just in the last 10 minutes we have available. What they don't seem to realize is that yes, they were able to do a lot of this because of their own drive, but not everyone has the drive. But that doesn't mean that they're incapable of helping, because a lot of people are very much capable of helping. Actually, I have to say I really kind of like it like this. Maybe a little bit lighter, because it's like the benefit of gray is that it is very neutral, right? Gray doesn't care what you superimpose on top of it. Anyway, sorry, back to the pontification at hand. Like, just because society itself is not willing, not everyone in society is a leader, and not everyone in society should be a leader, because that's actually kind of dangerous. But just because not everyone is a leader doesn't mean they can't also be very, very useful and very, very important, right? Like, and I would argue that a lot of the workers at Tesla, at SpaceX, are very, very important workers. And we forget that to train workers requires more than inspiration. It requires infrastructure, right? Like, inspiration only works. Inspiration only works for those who have the drive, who can do it themselves. And I'm not sure that everyone does. And again, the question is, should everyone even have inspiration like that? And I think my answer is no. And so for something like Tesla to thrive as well as it did, it required a certain amount of, I wonder if I can add filters. Mask blend, render delay, aspect ratio, lookup table. No. Okay, I can't just add a border to it. That's a shame. And that would have been great. Yeah, so just my point remains, right? Like, that I don't think it is fair to say I've built amazing companies, and therefore now whatever I say is whatever's great for society. Rather, we should be thinking about how to level up society as a whole. And all this long-winded conversation really is to bring me to the following point, and that is, it is important to invest in the future. It is it is important to invest in the future, but it is equally important to let me time stamp this first. 33:30. It is important to invest in the future, but it's equally important to realize that the most important parts of the future is actually the next generation, and that education is the most important part of that future, right? Especially as we've just seen that demographic changes in China means that the population as a whole is now decreasing, and that is dramatic, right? Because I mean, regardless of what you feel for Chinese people, it is impossible to claim anything but the fact that a generation of highly educated Chinese, whether they be overseas, international students, whether they be engineers, system admins, programmers, even within China itself, that they built the modern globalist society. Absolutely 100%. Right? Like, go into research. There is so much still to this day, like, so many Chinese graduate students that are doing the research for renowned professors in the West. There are so many Chinese lab technicians that are doing the lab work to support those Chinese and of course everyone else. But like the amount of Chinese people is it had built this globalist society, and therefore as both the West and Chinese population shrinks, the most important part now is to educate the next generation so that they can take over when this demographic time bomb explodes in about 20 to 30 years. And we're not seeing that, right? Like, as much as you like to talk about, oh, the future is great, let me just graphic time bomb and investment in education. And as much as, you know, carbon capture and all of that is important, to me that is the short term, because if we want to reach the climate change goals in 2050, 2060, whatever, in 30 years, in 20 years, if we do not have the efficiency, the educated workforce to make that happen, what do you think will happen? Absolutely nothing, right? Like, if everyone is busy trying to, oh, is this unaligned? Yeah, it's unaligned. If in 20 years everyone is busy attempting to not the right one, simply scraping by because we have lost our ability to be efficient, well then not only have we 38. No, that is right. Weird. Okay, then not only have we lost our chance at it, we have lost our chance at educating the next generation. We have also lost the efficiency that is necessary to create a the generation, the creation of knowledge. And once that is gone, how easy is it to get back? And the answer is it's not, right? And so because we're still cavemen, really, and so we'll spiral, we'll stagnate. That doesn't mean that civilization will end, obviously, no, but without education, stagnation is the likeliest outcome. And we have examples of this, right? As unfortunate as it is, actually, just let me close my curtains. As unfortunate as it is, we have examples of this, and there is stagnation. And so, yeah. Okay, let's move on. The Discord is filled with I'm sure basically none of you mean it, so yeah, let's move on. But I do feel very strongly about that, and to me that is the biggest issue. Now, we have done our backgrounds. We have done some backgrounds. For those of you who are interested in backgrounds, yay. For those of you who are not, for those of you who are interested in 39 exercise diet. Okay, now I'm ready. For those of you who are interested in what my diet and how I exercise and all of that, you're welcome to stick around. For those of you who are not, I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's do this. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I want to talk about, because I promised, the ways that I stay in shape, right? Exercises and diets. and it's rather simple. So I don't even think I'll take up all of the time. But let me just get this settled. Excuse me. Oh. There we go. And this should be 5. Why is it not 5? Oh, it is 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay. Excellent. Oops. We'll lock this down. So exercise and diets. Right. So, let me borrow something from what I did before. Just bear with me. Hold on. Oh, actually, I don't need this. No, I don't. No. So what I do end up doing? Yeah, let's. Okay. Exercise. There we go. So my exercise regime is quite simple. It is simply 3 times a week, 3x per week, or no, I shouldn't say 3 times a week. I should say every 2 days, and all I really font is too big. Okay, every 2 days, and all I really do is I divide my at least my strength training work. I divide that into upper body, core, and then lower body, right? And so by the time this happens, every 2 days I find some. These days it's really just strength training, like functional strength training. So like, upper body would be like push-ups or like overhead presses. Core would be all sorts of core workouts like planks. You do sit-ups, rows, not rows, yes, rows, twists, all of that wonderful stuff. Sure, I'll put it in like this. Twists, planks. In hindsight, this would have been easier in a different program. Yes, you're right. What else did I say? Twists, planks, rows. And upper body is it's really just push yeah, I really just do push-ups and like presses of sorts. I don't, because actually, and this is not hard for me to admit, but my upper body strength isn't as big, as nice as I would like, so I don't even do full push-ups. I do what are termed incline push-ups, right? So I actually push against a low table. And the reason why I'm able to do this is normally, push-ups are supposed to be an exercise of both the upper body and the core. But since I have a full day dedicated to the core, my core strength is actually incredibly good. And far be it from me to show off, but I do actually have the definitions of a six-pack on my core, which means that I don't really like the core strength is not what I'm building the push-up towards, right? So that's why I can simply just focus on the shoulders, and I find that I personally prefer slightly less load but more repetition. And Well, so when you have less load, you're, how do I say this? At least in my experience, and I think this is backed up by research, is that you're more building endurance than you are building pure strength. And to me that's more important. Like I don't need bulging muscles. Like what the hell? Why would anyone ever do that, right? No. So that's why I tend to go for exercises that that have a little bit more repetition but slightly less load. And so for example, for my push-ups on a low table, I do, oops, that's a big tap. I do 30 per set for a total of 6 to 9 sets, right? And so that I mean that's kind of ridiculous, right? that's between yeah, I'll just put it back next time. I.e. 180 to 270 push-ups. But given that they're inclined, I think it's fair, right? Inclined. So yeah, well, that's the thing. Like I do very much feel the soreness in my muscles. In fact, I did arm exercise. What today is? I did leg yesterday, so 2 days before that, so 3 days ago, I did arm exercise, and I'm still feeling it in my shoulders now, right? In that case, I have about 240 of the incline push-ups, and yeah. So as I build strength, I will lower the incline until I'm on the ground, and then we'll probably do a declined. And so that's the reverse, where you put your feet up on somewhere. But that's the point, right? Like essentially, you work your way. Like for me, it's important that I build shoulder strength, and so that's what I'm focused on. And this is still very much a compound exercise. It's just it involves the core a little bit less, right? Like you're still what are those muscles? Your delts, your rear delts, biceps, whatever, all of those lovely things. Yeah, exactly. So you can exactly, you can think of it as essentially everything together is a whole body exercise. And this happens, because it's every 2 days. Technically it's about a weekly thing, but it's like, this is 20. This looks better that way. 20 and 20. There we go. It is a weekly. It amounts to be about a weekly thing, but I give it 2 days simply because I also then it gives the muscles some time to recover. But that's not to say that I don't exercise on those not 2 days, right? So let's do every day, and every day I do something else, and that is the 15. Every day I do about a 60-minute elliptical run, and that's mostly to just get the body moving, right? And I guess I do ring fit I have so many comments on Ring Fit Adventure. Oh my god. So if you guys know the Nintendo Switch, right? You guys know that it is one of the best-selling consoles for Nintendo in a long time. Actually, probably forever. Actually, it very much is what led to the record profits that Nintendo had, and I'm not sure I like that. Nintendo was pivoting itself into being a service company slowly, right? You know, they have the Mario Run stuff on iOS, but because the hardware is not selling so well, it might persuade them not to do it in the future, and that would be tragic. It would be, yeah. Anyway, that's besides the point. Yes, so Ring Fit Adventure, I do a 60-minute elliptical run, and actually, let me just do this. Calorie expenditure. This should be 20, 22. No, we'll just keep it at 25. 80. So I expend about 700 big kilocalories. Let's do kilocal. Just so my exercises take about 700 per day. And so I on the days that I do work out, I work out first, and then I followed up with the elliptical to get to about 700. My goal is actually set at 600, but I actually like oftentimes forget that I should stop, and I don't stop until I get to about 700. And this is because while I'm doing this, I am also writing. Right, so a lot of my writing I do while I'm on the elliptical. I have a nice little shelf set up, and one of the cheapest, like, low quality Amazon ellipticals that exists. And yeah, so it's just, you know, it's like a walking desk, right? But instead of a walking desk, it's an elliptical desk. I know for a fact that one of you has a treadmill attached to a standing desk. Who was it? Oh yeah, our regulator. Excellent. Yes. And yes, I didn't forget lower body squats, wide and narrow, and also, what was it? Deadlifts, and also kettlebell swings, one-handed. So when you do kettlebell swings one-handed, it promotes the side obliques, as far as I can tell. In that, when you have that going on, it creates this nice little tension in the side that you're not holding the bell, and tension and compression in the side that you are holding the kettlebell, and that actually, you know, that works slightly different muscles, and I actually very much like that, because it, at the same time, it's also a question of balance, right? Yeah, I do yoga, not consistently, at least, no. Just because it's nice, but I also like all of to me at least, yoga, the videos on yoga that I can find are never fast enough, and I'm always too lazy to actually find like proper like power yoga type stuff. So I just end up not doing it. Well, it's simply easier not to do it. So caloric intake, I have no idea. In terms of diets, I have no. I don't watch at all what I eat. But I also don't eat like a glutton, right? So, low breakfast. Oh no, this doesn't need to be here. So low breakfast, coffee. Like today, all I had was an espresso, an iced latte, but like I make it myself. Coffee plus milk plus maybe some sort of fiber. Maybe fiber. Like that. And then a larger lunch. And then very low supper. And I think that's probably where our differences lie, in that I don't eat a lot for supper. And the reason is simply because I feel very like I feel terrible if I'm eating a big supper, and then because all of this work I do after supper. So if I eat a lot, it's not very it's not good for my tummy. Oh, actually, something else that is important is low carb diet. I tend to not eat a lot of carbohydrates. I focus mostly on protein. In fact, I focus probably too much on protein. Need more vegetables, like that. Yes. Let's turn this into 15. Excuse me. We'll turn that into that. Yeah. And so I tend to eat mostly focused on fats and proteins, not consciously like picking and choosing. That is actually very important. I do not calculate or consciously steer away from carbohydrates. Like I will, like just 2 days ago, I think, no, Saturday, whatever Saturday it was, I scarfed down probably, no, not Saturday, Friday, probably like half a medium pizza, like no, maybe more than half, at least like 6 or 7 slices of it in like 20 minutes. and that was for supper, right? This is also a suggestion to myself. Excuse me. Come on. More like guidelines. Right, so this is I will if supper is delicious, I will scarf down a lot of it. And there's no issue with that, because again, these are not short-term issues, I should say. Healthy weight is not a short issue. Body image has nothing to do with healthy weight. Since I know that'll be a thing, let's put that as over shall we say high percentages. No, let's say weight BMI percentage combinations are intimately linked to to disease, including COVID-19. Right, and there's no getting around this. This is the thing. This is a thing, and Yeah, mental health is important, but we're not talking about mental health right now. All we're talking about is why I try to maintain a nice healthy weight. Actually, let me calculate my BMI real quick because I haven't done that in a while. And luckily, NIH has a wonderfully good site that gives you that 22.3. Excellent. So right now I am BMI 22.3. I don't know my body fat percentage because I don't have a scale that does that. 2025. 11, 3, 10. And you know, this is good because I actually let me calculate how much I was at before. Okay. And so I got to from 24.3 in December. So between December and now, because I had been more cognizant of this, and let me reiterate that I really didn't change my diet at all. Really, all I did was I added this left section, which was the added exercise and consistency, right? Like before this, I could do all of this. I just never did it consistently enough. But now that I do it consistently and I expend about some, I didn't even do 700 in the beginning because I think for until March I was probably doing about 500 kilocalories a day worth of just movement, right? And I have an Apple Watch. It's not it's not entirely accurate, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, for the first few months I was only doing 500, and that is when I lost the most. And really it's just about consistency, doing some of this every 2 days. Well, I mean, I do this the elliptical every day to hit my target, because obviously strength training, you don't actually expend a lot of calories, so you have to. Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like strength training will expend more calories as your muscles develop, because to maintain muscles, your body uses your basal metabolic rate is just going to be higher. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so that's why as you build more muscle, you tend to start losing gaining more definition and losing some fat. That doesn't mean that your weight changes quite a lot. And in fact, I would argue my weight has certainly not changed from 24 to 22. It's BMI wise, my weight hasn't changed dramatically, right? And yeah, I can do that. So the formula for BMI is weight divided by height. Oh, let me weight in kilograms divided by height squared. Is there superscript in here? Select numerator, superscript. There we go. Normal. Height squared in meters, right? So this is important because this number, say you are say you are 180 centimeters and you are let's say 70 kilograms, right? Then it would be 70 divided by 1.8 times 1.8, and that is 180, 70, and that gives you 21.6, right? Like, no one is like this, obviously. So, but yeah, like, so that's the formula. I wouldn't put too much emphasis on BMI to begin with, anyway, because it is a very specific thing to a very specific person to begin with. So I wouldn't worry about it. The only part, and I guess now I'm talking to one person since this is one person's question. The only part that I would say is important is finding the desire to do something like this. I'm not saying you have to do exactly this, obviously, and this is difficult for someone who's just starting. Consistency is key, and therefore creating a habit and then building on that habit is key, right? Like I kind of just fell into this basically from the start. At the start, I tried to do like clever things on like, doing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then doing something else on doing like broadcasting on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and all of that didn't work out. It ended up just being easier for me to say every 2 days, and then I can plan everything around it, right? Like, well, actually, it's funny you say that, because I wash my hair on the days that I do the strength training, because on these days I go all out, whereas on the other days when I'm doing the ellipticals, I might not even sweat that much, right? It's simply to get the body moving so that, you know, it promotes blood flow, it promotes clearance of crap. You know, actually, funnily enough, one of the reasons people get gout is that you sit too long, and then urea crystals form in the extremities. So don't sit so long. And how do you make sure you don't sit so long? Well, you do something like this, right? So yeah, exactly. It's about finding what can get you to start. And for me, what got me to start, I can't remember. But I do talk a lot about activation energy, not just in science, but also in the human mind. And I would say that, yeah, like if you're having trouble with starting, do something that is pleasant. Like for me, it ended up being writing, because being efficient is being efficient is important to me, and so I write, and that's efficient. But you know, and I tend to actually no, I know what got me started. And yes, I know we're late. I'll end this as soon as I can. What got me started was actually COVID-19 and the fact that I was at home. And up until then, I always kind of knew that I didn't like the gym setting. I didn't really understand why, but now I do. When I exercise, I really, really, really need to shower right after I'm done. And so it's not that I don't mind going to the gym, it's that I don't like showering not at home. It's one of my quirks, one of many. But yeah, so I found that by exercising at home, I was very much able to take advantage of the fact that I can shower right after I'm done. And that lowered the activation energy of exercising dramatically, right? I think you can see where I'm going with this. It's and this works for all kinds of uncomfortable things that we don't want to do, right? Like if I don't want to do this, if I don't want to do that, as long as I am, how do I say this? If I can make the process more pleasant, then maybe I'll do it, and therefore I'll make it more pleasant. And that's not to say that everyone has the ability or the resources do so. But you know, for all of you boys and girls in the Discord, this isn't a big deal, right? Buy yourself an Apple Watch if that's what you want, right? Like, I find my watches very helpful. I have a gigantic collection of watches. Well, not gigantic. I have 6 pieces that I now no longer wear simply because the Apple Watch really helps, well, quote unquote, really helps in getting, in promoting me to work hard, right? And that's just, yeah. Anyway, we're done for today, right? Yes, we are. Say yes. I mean, if you have more questions, by all means. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. All good. All good. For sure. If you have more questions, yeah, definitely talk to me on the Discord. But for today, we should end it here. So let me end by saying we did some very interesting things today. We made... Oh, wait, that's not it. We made this. Haha. And this was good. I like this. You know, like, I'm not using this one right now. Okay, I'll use that one second. Yeah. We are now using that one, this one. We made this. We made a whole bunch of backgrounds that I think are interesting, if not revolutionary. They sort of adhere to the minimalist theme. I like the branding on the side, actually. I very much do. Anyway, in conclusion, thank you very much for watching. We've done wonderful things today. We've talked about exercise and diets. If you boys and girls want to talk about this in the future, don't hesitate to find me. And with that having said, please download Firefox. Don't do Chrome. Chrome is terrible. Yes, and we're done for today. Yes. Bye-bye. Bye now.